to Cham Pols, the world of chameleons. I'm sorry that this episode took as long as it did to make and upload. One of the main reasons is because that there's being a road being built by my house, and my dog caught a cold because of the colder climates, I guess. And many of that reasons. And other technical difficulties and stuff like that. If you don't know what Cham Pols is, well, Cham Pols is a seed world. A seed world is an alien world that is seeded with Earth life by another intelligent life form. Here are the creatures that were mentioned in the last episode. As you can see, creatures have grown pretty large over the last couple episodes and are just growing every episode. But they're going to grow even more larger in this episode. Strills has collided with Tungulus, and a new biome has emerged. The flower fields. In the flower fields, there are no yet true trees. But we'll be talking about that biome in this episode. A new organism has made its abode in the tropical plains. This is the swanamillion, a descendant from the snumpbeak fowl. They've ditched their herbivorous diet and more omnivorous diet, eating plants, seeds, fallen fruits, baby chameleons, and insects. They travel in flocks up to 6 individuals. They often roost inside mango trees and eat the mangoes and mango hoppers there. But they have a rival inside the mango trees. And that rival is none other than the barking chameleon. The barking chameleon, hence its name, barks. It barks very loudly. It's due to its vocal cords becoming more advanced and more large, and special adaptations, which allows them to bark. They bark due to swanamillions coming inside their territory and basically ruining their territory. So they bark. Their egg tooth has grown larger and even comes out their lip, almost like a giant incisor. They use this to break through mangoes and to kill smaller insects, even some swanamillions that get unlucky enough to enter a larger barking chameleon's territory. Down onto the ground level, you'll find a camelosaur. A camelosaur is a very large organism. They're descendant from the thornamillion, and instead of being omnivorous like their thornamillion ancestors, they are completely herbivorous. They feast on fallen fruit and grasses. They can't chew, so they swallow stones and rocks when they walk around. They have herds up to 6 individuals, usually only 2 males. They usually have only about 1 calf per female. And this allows them to keep up their numbers more exponentially. But they have to be wary for a predator. This is the Alistair chameleon. The Alistair chameleon is a very large organism. It gets its name because of its structure that resembles an alligator-like head. And their bite force is also very similar to an alligator. They use this impeccable bite force to break and destroy bones of camelosaurs, which is mainly their primarily food. They stalk herds and usually take out weaker ones, as they're more easier and won't put up as much as a fight, even also going after young calves. They are the apex predator of the tropical plains, but there is also a contender for that, and that contender is the venomillion. The venomillion is a very strange organism. It is descendant from the long-tailed chameleon that has moved down to the tropical fields. This creature might be one of the more deadlier creatures in the tropical fields, however. It gets its name, the venomillion, because of its enhanced venom. Its venom comes from its diet of hard-shell bananas. It's developed snake-like fangs and uses their long prehensile tail to jump onto the back of organisms and predators and inject their venom. This venom is even more toxic than that of a black mamba. They use this impeccable venom to take down large prey. They then tear off chunks with their front teeth and swallow them whole like an alligator. They might be a very, very good contender for a top predator niche in the tropical fields. Now we move over to the new biome, the flower fields. The flower fields are a very strange biome. Trees have been outcompeted by the new type of flower, the flower stalk. The flower stalk is a large, thick, almost tree-like, but it's not a tree. It has grown fruits. These said fruits are highly nutritious and are very sweet. Many chameleons might flourish this new diet. One of the little critters that adore the flower fields and their fruits is the gliding chameleon. The gliding chameleon is a simple omnivore, eating small insects and the fruits. They glide from tree to tree as not to be captured by creatures that climb the flower stalks like catameleons. They have their small beaks and are descendants from the squirrel chameleon. They glide from tree to tree like a flying squirrel. Soon, they might be able to make powered flight. Their main predator is the catameleon. Catameleons, hence their name, are like cats. They are one of the most intelligent creatures, being as smart as a cat, and very, very curious creatures. They climb the flower stalks and hunt the gliding chameleons. They raise their youngs until adulthood, usually having 3 kittens, as they're called. They are completely carnivorous and only eat the gliding chameleons and other small critters that they might find in smaller insects. Their predator is the dogamillion. The dogamillion, hence has a very keen sense of smell, which gives it its name, even though it doesn't really look like a dog at all. And doesn't even have its legs on underneath its body like most mammalians do. They have large front limbs for tearing apart catameleons, and they're omnivorous, eating the fruits that fall from the trees. And they eat the flesh of the catameleons, loving it. But they are not the top predator out in here. But when you look at a flower, you might find a small little critter. This is the mantis hopper. The mantis hopper is a type of grasshopper that has now developed into eating insects and other sorts of things. They eat caterpillars and have developed immunity to the poison of monarch butterflies and their caterpillars. They also even hunt smaller little chameleons whenever the opportunity is arisen, which makes them keen little predators. If you look at a flower stalk, not much seems also weird about it. You take a closer look, you might find something very, very interesting. This is the mega caterpillar. Mega caterpillars has experienced themselves into becoming not adults. They do not evolve into adults. They're so large and eat plants. They mainly eat the plant part of the flower stalk and have been neotness, not becoming adults. Hence their name, the mega caterpillar. Now we learn about the top predator in the flower fields. You look up into the sky and you'll find it. The flower dragon. The flower dragon is a large descendant of the ripper butterfly. They've experienced their larger mandibles for ripping flesh. They often pollinate the flower stalks. They hunt dogamillions, catamillions, and any other small chameleon or animal that they might find, ripping them apart with their large mandibles as they carry them off in the sky. They are the top predator in the flower fields. Now we move over to the shrublands. Here is a genderless herbivore. This is the shrub singer. The shrub singer is a lineage of shrubomillion, and due to no predators, have become a large herding animal. They have large throat pouches that they use to communicate for each other and make their songs. They usually have up to 3 calves, too, and move in condensed herds. They don't really have to worry about too many predators, as there's only one predator, and that predator doesn't hurt adults. It goes after the babies instead. And that predator is none other than the deadly nocturnal dream demon. The dream demon is a very strange grasshopper lineage. It has evolved from a swift tern that have migrated to the shrublands and filled an empty niche of predator. They go after young shrub singers and use a paralytic venom from their spewing organ that paralyzes the victim. They use their horns to tear apart the victim after they carry it some distance away from the mother, and then the mother will wake to one of her calves being missing. And during the day, they hunker down, looking like a rock as they sleep. Now we move over to another biome, the oceans. In the waters of many types of oceans and rivers, you can find a fin biter. A fin biter is like a toe biter on Earth. It has convergently evolved with that. They bite the fins of any pictus catfish that they can find and have a bump on their carapace that allows them to steer fast, and they use their long limbs to grasp it and bite. They are carnivores, eating smaller fish and other small grasshoppers. On the banks of the rivers, you might find a peculiar type of pictus, the walking pictus. The walking pictus is kind of like a mud skipper. They leave the rivers and climb around, using their fins to help them climb onto the banks. When they see a predator, they just dive right in. But this soon might evolve into something even stranger. In the oceans of Cham Pols, you can find a seal chameleon. A seal chameleon is descended from the marine chameleon. They are generous omnivores and often rest on beaches like seals. They have a fluke-like tail to help them swim even faster, and they eat algae, kelp, seagrass, dead decaying matter, and small little lobsters. They often travel in pods, kind of like dolphins, to keep their young safe when they're born. They give birth to live young, kind of like some certain species of anacondas. This is due to making birth faster than just laying eggs, because their predator that often hunts babies and other weak and sick adults is the sea ripper. The sea ripper is a lineage of sea royal. They use their large claws to pierce the flesh and scales, and use their large, sharp, mandible-like mouth to tear and rip through the scaly flesh of them, making them top predators. Underneath the water, there is the mudlouch. Mudlouches are tiny, tiny lineages of sea grazers that eat algae and marine snow. Not much is to say about them, as just sucker lump bottom dwellers, kind of like a trilobite. They use their claws to help them maneuver as they suck up marine snow and algae that flourish down there. Now we move over to the island of Tink, where a new animal has emerged. This is the terror fowl. The terror fowl has converged in evolution heavily to Earth terror birds, or ferreters. They bite and kill any small chameleons, which chameleons have not yet evolved any new forms on Tink. They eat smaller chickens in their herd packs, which are definitely a scary sight to see as they dart and run, as they can run up to 30 miles per hour with their long, spindly legs. Now we move over to the North and South Pole, where you will find a new organism. The Arctic crabster is a lineage of crabster that has decided to move to the Arctic, adapting, evolving fur and very, very strange scales. They are herbivores and only eat the limber tree leaves. They have no predators, and soon a new evolution occur might happen on the colder polar Arctic. Thank you guys so much for watching. As you can see, here's a size comparison of all the organisms today. I hope you enjoyed, and be sure to subscribe. A young catamelion looks up at the night sky. It sees something. It sees a star. That star is very brighter. It's brighter than the other ones. Why does it look like it's getting bigger? It thinks. It's almost as big as the big green ball in the night sky. It doesn't know what it is, but it sure as heck doesn't want to know. It's scared. Why is it getting closer? Its mother calls for it as it returns back to their den.